In the grand city of Umen, Jabari, a wealthy man with a golden-gated estate, mysteriously chooses to sleep on the cold streets each night. People whisper and gossip, wondering why a man of such wealth would abandon his luxurious home. A bold young boy named Kwame approaches Jabari, asking why he sleeps outside. Jabari only smiles and offers him a piece of bread, refusing to answer. Kwame grows more curious and decides to uncover the truth. Determined to find answers, Kwame sneaks into Jabari's estate. Inside, he finds a dimly lit room with chains hanging from the ceiling, tattered clothes on the floor, and a large wooden chest locked tightly. Just as he hears footsteps approaching, he flees, his mind racing with questions. One night, Kwame watches as a tall, shadowy figure emerges from the estate, unlocking the chest before vanishing into the darkness. Fear grips him as he wonders, was it a ghost? Could this be the reason Jabari refuses to sleep inside? Kwame finally unlocks the chest, finding old letters, faded photographs, and a blood-stained cloth. Jabari catches him but, instead of anger, reveals the tragic truth. Long ago, someone he loved was killed in his home. Though he was not the killer, guilt haunts him, making his house feel like a prison. He chooses to sleep outside as a form of atonement. My brother Chuma was my closest friend. Jabari continued. We built this estate together, but greed poisoned everything. One night he brought strangers into our home. He called them business partners, but they were thieves. They came for my wealth, my land. I woke to the sound of chaos. Jabari's expression darkened. I grabbed a machete and fought in the confusion. My brother was stabbed. I don't know whose blade struck him, but when dawn came he was gone. Kwame's heart pounded. What happened next? He asked. Jabari swallowed hard. The men fled, but the blood remained. My brother's final words were a curse. You will never rest in this house again. He pointed at the walls. Ever since that night strange things have happened here. Doors slam, shadows move, whispers call my name. Whenever I try to sleep inside I feel unseen hands pulling at me, dragging me towards the chest. I cannot stay. I cannot sleep here. Kwame shivered. Have you ever tried staying inside all night? He asked. Jabari nodded solemnly. Once I locked every door. I told myself it was only in my head, but at midnight I heard footsteps, many footsteps. Then the whispers began. The air turned ice cold, and something brushed against my neck. I ran to the door, but it would not open. The whispers grew louder, calling my name. The lights flickered and the chest lifted on its own. Kwame held his breath. What did you see inside? He whispered. Jabari's voice dropped. A shadow, a figure rose from the chest. It had my brother's face, but no eyes. Its mouth stretched open, whispering my name. Jabari, you betrayed me. I screamed. I fought to open the door, but the room spun around me. Then suddenly the shadow vanished. The door burst open and I ran. I have never slept in that house again. He exhaled shakily. I never will. Kwame's mind raced. Was it true? Could a spirit truly haunt the house? He looked at the open chest, at the letters and the blood-stained cloth inside. He swallowed hard. What if we face it together? He asked. Jabari frowned. It is too dangerous, but Kwame shook his head. If your brother's spirit remains here, then maybe he seeks something unfinished. Maybe there is something left undone. Jabari hesitated, then slowly nodded. Then tonight we face the darkness. As night fell, Jabari and Kwame stepped into the house together. The grand estate loomed over them, silent and watchful. The moment they crossed the threshold, a chill ran through the air. He knows we are here, Jabari whispered. Kwame clenched his fists. Then let's find out what he wants. They walked toward the curse room, their footsteps echoing. The air grew heavier, the walls seemed to breathe. The door creaked open on its own, revealing the chest waiting in the center. Then the whispers began, soft at first, then rising. Jabari, you cannot hide. Kwame gripped Jabari's arm. It's coming from the chest. Jabari took a deep breath. Then let's open it. They stepped forward, and the moment Jabari touched the lid, the lights flickered and the whispers turned to a wail. Shadows burst from the chest, swirling like black smoke, forming the shape of a man. Kwame gasped. It was Chuma, but his eyes were empty. The ghost of Chuma loomed over them, his voice like the wind. Why did you betray me, brother? Jabari staggered back. I never meant to harm you. The ghost's hollow eyes darkened. Then why did you let me die? Kwame's mind raced. Was this spirit seeking revenge, or something more? He called out, what do you want, Chuma? Why are you still here? The ghost's form flickered. I cannot leave. My story is not finished. Jabari clenched his fists. Then tell me what happened that night. I remember the fight. I remember you falling, but I do not know who struck the final blow. The ghost pointed to the chest. Look inside. Jabari hesitated, then reached and he pulled out The old dagger was stained dark, its handle worn with age. Okuka's breath caught as his eyes fell on the initials engraved into the hilt. They weren't his, they belonged to his former business partner. It wasn't me, Okuka whispered, his voice shaking. It was them, the men you brought here. Chuku's ghost looked from the dagger to Okuka, his spectral form flickering. Then in a soft, solemn voice he murmured, "At last my soul can rest." The room trembled, shadows retreating into the corners. The weight that had lingered for years seemed to lift. "I was wrong to curse you, brother," Chuku's voice echoed gently. "All I ever wanted was justice." Okuka's eyes brimmed with tears. "I should have uncovered the truth sooner," he said, regret heavy in his tone. A faint smile crossed the ghost's face. "Now I am free." With those final words, Chuka's form faded into nothingness. The whispers that had haunted the house fell silent. The air grew still, warm, a peace that had not been felt in years settling over the space. "He's gone," Chidi said quietly. Okuka nodded slowly. "Yes, after all these years." He turned to Chidi, relief softening his features. "You were right, he only wanted to be heard." Chidi grinned. "So does this mean you'll finally sleep in your own house?" Okuka let out a deep, unrestrained laugh. "Yes, boy, tonight for the first time in years I will sleep in my own bed."